Alright guys, in this video we're talking about the upcoming PlayStation 5 exclusive Returnal, a game that I am very excited about, a game that I have been talking positively about since the time it was first revealed, the first story trailer we saw. I knew from the time we saw this game it was going to be something special, and now here we are just about a week away from launch, and Sony allowed all of the outlets that are currently in the process of reviewing the game to come out and talk about it, to basically give an extensive preview. Not only are they allowed to write about it, talk about it, but they're able to show raw gameplay as well, which I am not going to have in the background of this video because I know that there are some people who want to go in completely blind, so I'm not going to be showing like the first 10 or 15 minutes or anything. It's just going to be trailers that we've already seen up until this point. But I have to tell you, I am so happy to be seeing this, to be hearing this, because again, this is a game that I've believed in for some time. There are so many people who were doubting this game. So many people who think that, well, Housemarque, they're a smaller studio. They're looked at more as an indie studio. This is their first real attempt at making a AAA game. Are they really going to be able to deliver that? And even with the trailers that we've seen, a lot of people just still weren't feeling very sold on the game. And I could understand that, even though I've been advocating for this game and I've been saying, I think that this is going to be something special. I think this is going to be the sleeper hit of 2021 and potentially PlayStation 5's first sleeper hit, right? For those who don't know what a sleeper hit is, it's basically something that's just kind of going under the radar. People are kind of underestimating it. And once it comes out, it just surprises and in some cases shocks everybody. And everybody's talking about it and they're like, wow, this is really, really good. And that's exactly how everybody is talking about it. Everybody who has had the chance to play the first couple of hours. Now, there's still a lot we don't know. We don't know like the overall length of the game. We don't know what else the game is going to offer like halfway through or towards the end of it, right? After all, these are previews and we've only been able to hear about the first couple of hours, but people are impressed. And the most important thing I want to stress here is this. What Housemarque is doing with Returnal is special because they're a studio that is proving, hey, we're going to make a AAA game, and you're probably going to be hesitant about our ability to do so because we've never really done so in the past. And they come out here and they're doing something unique. They're doing something different, because when you look at Returnal, this is not the same type of game that we usually see from Sony, right? There's been a lot of conversation lately about how Sony, they're just not creative enough. They're not allowing studios they work with to be creative enough. You know, they're only trying to do like cookie cutter type stuff. And when you look at Returnal, it's the literal opposite of that, okay? It does certainly remind you of some things like maybe Dead Space or Prometheus. I've seen a lot of comparisons drawn to that. But what I'm hearing about Returnal so far is that the gameplay, first of all, is addicting, which is something I already kind of predicted was going to be there. For those who are unfamiliar with Housemarque, they're known to create extremely addictive gameplay loops, but it's actually apparently more engaging than maybe the trailers would lead on. I mean, we can all agree that just looking at the gameplay trailers, it's going to be a fast-paced type of game. Again, people are kind of calling it like a third-person Doom, which is very high praise, and I have to admit, that's kind of what it looks like, right? But what I'm hearing is that the gameplay is actually a little bit more complex than we might think, at least when it comes to everything that surrounds it. Like, there's a lot to learn with this game. That's what I've been hearing. Some people have maybe kind of painted that as a negative, where it's like there's a lot of different systems here, a lot of different things you have to really kind of like sink your teeth into and learn before you really have a full grasp of how everything in the game works. But the gameplay itself is very solid. The atmosphere of the game apparently is incredible. The graphics, the particle effects, the story. Apparently there's a lot of mystery and intrigue around the story, which that doesn't surprise me. Everything we've heard and seen of the game so far seems to point to that. But again, guys, like, I can't stress enough like how awesome this is, because there have been a lot of games, unfortunately, that I have kind of advocated for in the past that, you know, they came out and in some cases they either underwhelmed or not everybody was sold. I think Death Stranding is a good example of this, where I thought Death Stranding, even when we saw the first gameplay of it, looked amazing and looked very promising. I could understand why some people were just not on board with it, because it just wasn't a game for everybody. But I feel like looking at something like Returnal, it's not a type, like the only thing divisive about this game so far is whether or not it's worth that $70 price tag. And the way it's being talked about right now, it sounds like it is 100% going to justify its price. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody's immediately going to be like, oh, well, if they say it's worth 70, then I'm going to go pay 70 for it. No. But, you know, recently there was a lot of controversy around something that I believe it was John Garvin said. He said recently, he's formerly of Sony Bend Studio. He basically said that if you love a game, you have to buy it at full price. And a lot of people did not like that he said that, because people were like, well, how do we know if we love a game? You know, we're taking a risk. Or if your game doesn't look good enough, you know, with the way you're showing it off to us, then, you know, that's on you. That's not on us. Like, basically people saying he's blaming the customer. And I kind of understand that. His comments were definitely aggressive and certainly, you know, not something that the consumer is going to be happy to hear. But what I will say is this. I feel like if he were to have said, if you believe in a game, right? I feel like there's a big difference, because it's true. You can't know if you love a game if you haven't played it yet. I don't know if I'm going to love Returnal because I just simply haven't played it. But what I do know is I believe in a game like Returnal, just like I believed in a game like Death Stranding, just like I believed in a game like Days Gone. And I feel like that's the proper wording to use. If you believe in a game, then you should try your best, if you're able to, if it's within your means, to support it at full price. So you can not only support the developers, but support what they're trying to do. Because when I saw this game, I could tell immediately, like, this is Housemarque's big moment, right? This is their big make or break moment. Housemarque themselves, as a smaller studio who is known for smaller indie titles, they said themselves that they had to transition to make, you know, AAA games, because what they were doing in the indie space with the smaller titles, it just wasn't sustainable for them. They literally said this themselves. And it seems like Sony gave them a big opportunity here with Returnal. If you recall, before Returnal, Housemarque was unfortunately working on some type of third-person battle royale. And a lot of people were not happy about that. And the fact that Sony kind of stepped in and they're like, maybe you can do something other than that. So we have a single-player, story-driven, roguelite experience here that has Castlevania elements, you know, Metroidvania elements, I guess, is the best way to put it. That's what I'm hearing a lot of. It's very atmospheric. It's addicting, right? Like, it has this amazing gameplay loop. I think that Returnal is proving a lot of people wrong. You know, I've said this about games like Death Stranding. I said this about games like Days Gone. But what I'm noticing with a game like Returnal, more so than these other games I just listed, is that this game really is surprising. Like, I think this is truly going to be a sleeper hit. I think there was a bigger expectation for games like Days Gone and Death Stranding, but with Returnal, I think this is going to be the definition of a sleeper hit. And I think it's going to be PlayStation 5's first true sleeper hit. So I'm just, again, like, this video wasn't necessarily me going over in depth what people are saying about it, because there's no reason for me to do that. If you want to, there's plenty of other videos out there for people who have been playing it, telling you their thoughts. And I plan to do the same thing when I finally do play it. I'll be doing a stream of it, obviously, maybe multiple streams. But I just want to kind of end this video by going over some of the headlines that I've come across. So if you just look up Returnal and you look at the headlines, it says, you know, Returnal shows that Sony, this is from Eurogamer, that shows that Sony can still be weird and daring. And then if you go to Kotaku, which I know a lot of us don't like Kotaku, but they said Returnal feels like an actual PS5 game. And there's just been so much praise around this title and just how it's surprising people, right? Returnal takes the indie game revolution to the next level. That's what Digital Trends is saying. PlayStation Lifestyle says the first truly next-gen PlayStation 5 game. Okay, so if you look up Returnal preview, right? Tom's Guide says Returnal hands-on preview, a PS5 exclusive worth the hype. Screen Rant says PS5 exclusive game Returnal takes the DualSense controller to the next level, which is another area that I've heard really good things about. Like, apparently this game really shows off the DualSense in a very significant way. I've heard some people even say that it does so even better than Astrobot, which is crazy to me. And so, you know, it's just nothing but praise for Returnal, nothing but positive talk. And I just wanted to take a little bit of time here to express my excitement. You know, it would have been certainly disheartening if the first previews of Returnal people came out and are like, it's failing to impress. It's not very good. It's mediocre, right? And just to see a studio like Housemarque really elevate themselves. See, this is what I love about PlayStation, man. People, I know a lot of people already know this, but people don't understand that this is what Sony does best. They provide the opportunity for talented studios to elevate themselves, to really do something bigger and better and more ambitious than maybe we could have ever imagined, that maybe even they could have ever imagined. And this is what we're seeing with a game like Returnal. So I'm going to be buying this game day one, and I'm very much excited for it. I'm excited to do a stream on it. I'm excited to review it. And it seems like this is really not only the first true next-gen PlayStation 5 exclusive that's impressing people, but this is going to be the first PlayStation 5 sleeper hit. I think all signs are pointing to that. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. I think I've gushed over Returnal enough here. So let me know what you think. What do you think about the previews? What do you think about what reviewers are saying about this game? For those who did watch the raw uncut footage, what do you think of it? Are you somebody who was maybe doubting this game, but now after hearing all of the positivity about it and surrounding it, maybe now you're feeling more inclined to purchase it if you are lucky enough to have a PS5? Let me know your thoughts down below. Leave the video a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.